The woman rips off the plastic bag and screams for help. The man with the headphones on doesn't hear anything. Buster covers his mouth. He took out the tape and tied his mouth shut. Then he took out a zip tie and tied the woman's hands. Then Buster shoved him into the trunk. Then he drove away. Soon Buster arrived at the house. Then he dragged him into a secret room. The room was 10 feet long and wide, and the walls around it were soundproofed. The sound insulation was very good. No one could hear her even if she screamed at the top of her lungs. Buster told him he just wanted to ask a few questions. The woman nodded her head in agreement, but then she ripped off the tape. She started screaming for help. Buster knew the woman wouldn't listen to him. Then he opened the door and walked out. He took out his gun, loaded it and returned to the room. At this point the woman saw the gun and quieted down. She told Buster that her family was rich. If he didn't hurt me, he could get my father to give it to you. But Buster said he wasn't interested in money. He just wanted to know the woman's name. The woman said her name was Kathy, but Buster was clearly not happy with that answer. Then he left the room again. Buster looks through the woman's phone and wallet, but he didn't get the answers he wanted. Buster then prepares a lunch for the two of them. On the other hand, Casey had turned her hand over. When Buster came back into the chamber, as soon as he opened the door, he was attacked. Buster rushed to grab his foot, but he was kicked in the face. Buster struggled to get up. He was knocked unconscious by a vase of flowers. Casey went to the living room and found a phone to call the police. Buster shot the phone and cut it off. Casey tapped on the glass and shouted, but this was a remote area. There was no one in sight. Buster drew closer. She bows her head and begs for mercy, and then she finds the right moment to punch. She knocks him to the ground. Then she finds her bag. She takes out her mobile phone to call for help, but the phone had no signal. He found another handful of fruit packets, cut the ties around his feet. He came to the door and found it locked. At this point Buster stood up.
Help me!
Where did you think you were gonna go?
Buster told him not to bother. You won't get out. If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it already, and told the woman to sit down and have lunch. Buster continued to ask him what his name was, but the woman continued to answer Casey. Buster gave him a straight face full of plates. As a result, Buster was knocked unconscious. He's not a bad fighter, it seems. Casey crawled forward, but Buster pulled him to his feet. Then a punch. Casey fell to the ground and put him back in his cell. A short time later Casey woke up. He found a faint signal from his mobile phone in the chamber. He rushed to dial for help. On the other hand, Buster noticed the phone was missing. He rushed into the chamber and grabbed the phone. He then smashed the phone and threw it on the floor. She asked him for his real name, but she still answered that her name was Kathy. Buster shot her straight in the face. Buster said, if you don't tell me, the next shot will be to your head. Kathy had to tell him in order to live. His name was Anna. He was a nurse. 4 years ago, a medical emergency killed 3 patients. One of them was Buster's wife. The autopsy report showed that Buster's wife died of alcohol poisoning, but his wife never drank. Buster thought Anna had killed her. Anna continued. In fact, Pat's wife had already betrayed him, because when she was in hospital, a man would come to visit him. He would come to visit him. They were very close to each other. Anna said that he had killed Buster's wife, and that she was not guilty. Buster was devastated when he heard this, and left the chamber. Buster overturned the table. He couldn't believe the truth. He had searched for the truth for so long. What he found was his wife's betrayal. On the other side Anna saw the tiles on the floor. There was a crack, and used her phone to pry one off. Buster came back to the secret room. He tells Anai to turn herself in. Anna picked up the tile, and plunged it hard into Buster's shoulder.
Why'd you have to ruin everything?
Anna rushed out. She came into the living room and found a fruit knife. Back to the secret room again. Anna burst into the chamber with a knife in her hand. At that moment Buster appeared from behind and closed the door behind him. Anna reached out to stop him, but the door caught her hand. It was impossible to close the door. Buster had no choice but to leave. He came into the living room and saw the gun on the floor. He ran to pick up the gun, but Anna rushed out. The gun ended up in Anna's hand. At that moment, Buster's daughter and the nanny came back. Anna shot the nanny dead. Anna pointed the gun at Buster. The daughter rushed to her father's side, but Anna grabbed her. For the sake of his daughter's safety, Buster promised Anna to let her leave safely, but Anna doesn't believe him. She thinks that only the dead keep secrets. At that moment, her daughter bites Anna's hand. Buster immediately jumped on Anna. He strangled Anna and knocked her out. Buster went to find his daughter and prepared to leave, but Anna was back on her feet. Buster shot her in disbelief. Buster found his daughter in the secret room. The two men returned to the living room to find Anna gone. They run to the door and prepare to drive away, but then Anna appeared with a gun. A struggle ensued in the garage. Anna takes a screwdriver and sticks it in Buster's thigh. Anna grabbed a fork, but Buster caught the fork. As his life hung in the balance, the metal door fell down. Anna lost her last breath. Finally the police arrived. Anna gets the punishment she deserves, and that's the end of the film.